This is James Johnson again, and I'm here on a snowy January 5th, 2007, and I'm talking with a client, Mr. Fred Sage, and we happen to just start talking about V-Discs. And Mr. Sage, first of all, could you tell us when you were born?
1924.
1924. So now you are 82 years old?
Hey, you're a mathematician.
Thank you. I practiced this. Of course, a little rehearsal before never hurts me. And you were in the Navy.
You bet.
And could you tell me about that process? How is it you came to be in the Navy?
Well, it was a hell of a lot better than being in the Army. Ah, the best years of my life.
And you went to school?
Well, I was real lucky. I got in a program called V12, which is designed to create naval officers, both for World War II, and they were particularly looking at the future need because they knew we were going to have a lot bigger Navy when the war ended. And I got signed up in that after I had 1 year of civilian college at Washington Lee University in Virginia. So anywho, I signed up in that on December 14th of 1942. By a strange coincidence, November 15th, or December 15th, was the day the program closed. The draft would have been on my back. And I did have some friends that were fraternity brothers that missed that deadline and wound up in the Army and didn't have such a pleasant time, for sure. But then I got 2 semesters at the University of Richmond, taking the same courses I would have taken, in uniform and paid. Another semester at the University of North Carolina, which I thought was a real good school. 4 months of midshipman school in Chicago, which was a wonderful town for service people at that time. Followed by 20 weeks of a diesel school down in North Carolina State. Well, so I got to Okinawa about a month before the war ended. And in the Navy 3 years and never heard a shot fired in anger. And I enjoyed my career in the Navy very well.
Now, in the Navy, what did you do?
Well, I wound up as skipper of a LCT-6. An LCT-6 is a landing craft tank, model number 6. And it's 100, none of, as far as I'm quite sure, there are none of them in existence today. They even junk. They're 120 feet long. They would carry 6 medium tanks or 180 tons of anything you wanted to carry, primarily from ship to shore. You could get 300 troops on them, standing if you want to do that. You had 1 officer and a crew of 12, and I left them alone, they left me alone, we got along just fine.
Alright. Now, your musical background, you're a music fan. Or a fan of jazz music, specifically.
Yeah. And today you got to be careful what you mean by jazz. And I tell you, I do not care for howler monkey music. And if you ever been to the zoo and heard the howler monkeys, who native of the Amazon Valley.
Now, we were talking about the V-Disc records. You were familiar with those. How did that come about?
Well, Clean Living and Pure Thoughts.
Oh, okay.
Well, you brought this up, and I hadn't thought about them in years. But they were 78, put out by the Army and Navy. and had all kinds of music on them.
Mm-hmm.
There weren't, they, I don't think they were the same vinyl that made normal records. They were kind of more flexible and probably would wear out a lot faster. But they felt kind of different. But I don't know where we got them, but
Mm-hmm. Were you able to listen to them on the ship?
oh yeah, we had a record player tied into our squawk box.
Was this a powered radio, or you wound it up, or do you remember how the record player operated?
Well, you, you, you didn't wind those things up like a clock.
Right.
You know? No,
But I mean, some of them I understood had like a springer, like for field use and all like that. They had
yeah.
some that.
No,
But yours was tied into it. It was hooked
this,
up, powered into it.
well, this would have run off our power supply, which was 32 volts in our case.
Huh. 32 volts.
Yeah,
Huh.
that ran the refrigerator, and well, that was about all.
And then
Lights.
you'd play it through the ship speaker system.
Yeah,
Huh.
if you wanted to, or even me.
Did you have
Individually.
any particular favorites?
Oh, they were all there. I didn't only had probably a dozen.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that's Waller, I remember. Artie Shaw, Betty Goodman, Glenn Miller, of course. Dinah Shore must have been there if she was in business that time.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
was nice to have.
Yeah. Wow. But as far as the jazz, you were talking to me about a jazz group. Are you a part of that now, Friends of Jazz, or what is that about?
Boulder Friends of Jazz.
Yes.
Oh, it's an organization that meets every, like the first Sunday afternoon at the American Legion over in Louisville, and it's just classical jazz lovers get together, and there are a number of people play there regularly.
Mm-hmm. So they actually perform there, or they just listen to music there?
No, well, you have these performers, but this is probably maybe 20 different people who come and play.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And they do that on the first of the month.
Yeah, first Sunday of the month
Huh.
at 2 to 4, I think.
Huh.
But then there's a lot of other people. Kind of an elderly group, you can imagine, and a lot of them make a life traveling to jazz festivals.
Huh. Oh, I wasn't familiar with that.
Well, you should join. They'd get a kick out of you.
I'm kind of
Some
odd
of
man out. I just kind of travel the.
Actually, there could be others of these people who knew of the V-disc. There's some
Yeah.
real geezers.
That might be something to look into.
Oh yeah,
That might be worth
wouldn't
it.
hurt you a bit.
Were you familiar with this particular record? I brought you an example of one of them.
No, I don't remember 12 inches, 12-inch ones, but same material.
The ones you had were in a little bit different format.
No, they're the same. This is Army. Had a different looking label, as I recall, but it was pretty much, it would have been a standard 78, only 10 inch
Uh huh.
instead of the 12 inch.
Huh.
It was the first time I ever saw a 78 12-inch disc in my life. Yeah, Jimmy Lunsford, God, I haven't even thought of him. Al Basie. There's a pair to draw to. That's classic.
Well, we were talking about the strike during the strike time. Do you remember anything about that, or did you know anything about that when when the musicians went on strike?
Not. Well, yeah, it was a lot of publicity, and us kids, this was our music. So to have these along was pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.